If there's one thing I've learned over the past 2 years, it's that time is relative. Some moments last forever, while others pass in the blink of an eye. The older we get, the faster things go. And sometimes it's nice to have a reminder of where we've been, something to look forward to when we return. I visited Zion National Park every fall since 2009. And over the course of those 12 years, I've witnessed more change than I care to admit. In the early days, I could arrive without campground reservations, but now I make mine 6 months in advance. I've also seen change within the landscape itself. Towering ponderosa pines tossed to the ground and shattered by a passing storm, or massive rock falls that forever changed the face of the canyon. Many of the scenes I photographed no longer exist. Large cottonwoods have split in half, while others have decayed beyond recognition. I often yearn for the good old days, the time when life seems simpler. As humans, we have a strange way of remembering only positive experiences, while the negative ones are worn smooth with the passage of time. These are indeed the good old days. It's just a matter of perspective. It was earlier this year that I visited Zion during a significant winter storm. I spent 10 nights in the park, and there sitting on my campsite's table was a lonely fork, one that was left behind by the previous occupant. I largely ignored it, but on my final day, I hid that fork at a different campsite, one I knew I would reserve for my fall trip. It was a physical reminder of my winter trip, a reminder that remained untouched in the same spot for nearly 9 months. It experienced the heat of summer, heavy monsoon rain, and now the arrival of fall. Those 9 months passed in the blink of an eye, and now here I am once more, and it's as though I had never left. My goal for this year's trip is to approach it with the same sense of awe and appreciation as my first visit back in 2009. And with the right mindset, perhaps it'll be like a visit from the good old days. This is a story of my fall of 2021 visit to Zion National Park. So I went ahead and set up camp, and when I arrived at my campsite, I was very happy to find that fork that I had found on my winter trip and then hid at the campsite that I knew I'd be booking for the fall. So something about that fork sitting there and waiting for me this whole time. There's something kind of nice about that. But the skies now are mostly blue, a little bit of high clouds. And it's been a few hours or so since I got here, so now it's a little after 3 p.m. And what's interesting this year is that the fall color appears to be running a little bit late. And so it gives me a really good opportunity to be here ahead of the color. And that way I can come up with a bit of a plan. But I've hiked to an area that I have not been to before. Really nice side canyon here. And the higher the elevation, the better the color. And so this particular area, there are some maples and oaks back there that have some nice color. I think it's supposed to have a little bit of wind over the next couple days or so. And the temps are a little chilly at night, so hopefully the color will be sped along here. But it's absolutely beautiful here. Just spending some time wandering around, getting inspired, exploring some new areas, and coming up with a plan of what I might be pointing my camera at in the days to come. It's kind of surreal to be here in Zion right now, that's for sure. Well, as I made my way further back into the side canyon, I started gaining a fair amount of elevation. As I did that, I can see some pretty big changes with the progress of the color. So it gives me a good feeling in terms of where the fall color is at with regard to elevation right now. And even though I didn't find anything today that I'm set on photographing in the coming days, it's very useful to get back in there. And I think tomorrow morning I'm going to explore some other side canyons nearby at similar elevation. Some ones I haven't been to yet. And see if I can find anything over there. But absolutely beautiful evening here in Zion now. think it's time to head back to camp, make myself some dinner, and relax a little bit. Whew. Beautiful day. Well, good morning, everyone. It's a lovely morning here in Zion. Blue skies, though a little later today there's supposed to be a pretty good chance of some strong winds, which I'm sure will bring some clouds with it. I made myself some breakfast, made myself some tea, and now I'm just wandering the washes not far from where I was yesterday. And one of the things I want to talk about this morning is expectations. And I think that is something that steers a lot of photographers in the wrong direction, because if you go to a specific location with certain subjects in mind, only to find that things aren't quite as you'd hoped them to be, you're going to be disappointed. So I'm guilty of that, but I've been trying to get better at it and to go into trips with more of an open mind, because typically it takes me about 3 days or so on a trip to get beyond those initial expectations. And so by going on this trip with very little in the way of expectations and just wanting to be a better witness of everything around me, hopefully that will allow me to find some subjects that I'm not blinded by from expectations I might have. But it's a lovely morning here, and keep wandering and see what I could find. So while wandering around, I found something interesting here. I found this large pool with some floating oak leaves in it. It doesn't look like much right now. It looks like this big muddy puddle, but if you have an interesting subject like this and you get some good light on it, that's when you really have some interesting opportunities. So I checked the PhotoPills app and I see that at 2 p.m. the sun is going to move along and then shoot some direct sunlight onto this sandstone wall over here, which will bounce some light down around in here. So that could be interesting. So it'll be definitely worth coming back for that. And it's supposed to be windy today, so that could be interesting. I'm actually watching the leaves move around a little bit right now, which could actually be interesting for a long exposure. Could also be weird, but we'll see that. But certainly great to find a potential subject. So I'm gonna keep wandering around and see what else I can find. Well, it's now going on 2 o'clock, and it got a little windy, and it got a lot of windy, and it got cloudy, and now it feels a little stormy. So definitely not great conditions for photography at the moment. Really depend on having that wonderful, nice reflected light and the calm wind to take the sort of photos I really enjoy photographing here. So I'm taking this as an opportunity to continue the scout and check up on some familiar areas to see the progress of the fall colors. And I have 3 potential subjects in mind for tomorrow morning, because the mornings are typically much more calm. So we'll see how that goes. But meanwhile, I'm going to keep wandering around and taking some reference shots on my iPhone and see if I can find some other interesting subjects for the days to come. So I wandered around for a little bit, then came back to camp here, and it's getting a little stormy. It's not really going to rain or anything. I mean, there's just been a few drops falling, but you can smell the rain in the air. And just been pretty windy and got a little chilly. But I'm pretty happy about all the scouting I did today. I found 3 potential subjects for tomorrow. All I really need to have is sunny skies and not much in the way of wind. And that may very well happen tomorrow. I did 15,000 steps today, and it's really important to put in that legwork to find those subjects and come up with a plan for when the conditions really are ideal. I think the little storm going through right now is just Mother Nature's way of telling me to relax and take a little time off just to sit back and read a book or something. But definitely good to find those subjects. I look forward to what I will find tomorrow. And I want to thank everyone for watching. I'll see you around next time. If you enjoy this ad-free and clickbait-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution of just $24 a year helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. For more information on how to support me and my work, please visit the donation section of my website at benhorn.com/donate. I also have prints in my portfolio box set available on my website. You can find a direct link down below in the show notes. Thanks in advance for your support.